hairstylist is looking at you right now. Getting in trouble with the law at an early age can lead to a lifetime of consequences for kids. My next guest is looking to change all that in Seattle with an innovative program that gives kids an alternative. Instead of being prosecuted, they can choose to see the best in themselves and thrive. Take a look.
Choose 180 is a nonprofit organization. Our foremost goal is to transform systems of injustice to no longer do harm to communities, particularly the Black and brown community.
So tell me about a time that you made that different decision.
The difference between a young person who's successful and a young person who has challenges has everything to do with the community surrounding them.
What the program aims to do is to not label a kid for a mistake. It seeks to help a kid make better decisions. It doesn't always have to be a jail cell or a judge or a courtroom.
Last year we supported a little over 500 youth and young adults. Over 90% of them don't return to the criminal legal system within 12 months of participating in our program.
Which means that community is better because that young person is better because that family is better.
This is the greatest organization. I'm so excited, y'all. Over the years, Sean Goode, the executive director of Choose 180, has helped more than 6,000 kids turn their lives around. He's what we like to call a rad human. Please welcome Sean, everybody. What's up, man? How you doing?
I am amazing, Kelly.
We'll meet Jesse.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hey, Jesse.
Hi.
Great to meet you as well.
You too.
Well, we were just talking in the break how excited we are. Like, she does this podcast. She gets to meet people that are really cool and changing people's lives and have a lot of information that we maybe don't know about. And I have been so excited since reading all about you, about having you on the show. I think it's incredible what you're doing. So two very different events in your childhood inspired what you do right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when I was 6 years old, I visited my brother, who at the age of 13 was incarcerated for a poor choice that he made. And he was locked up inside of a kid jail until he was a 21-year-old man. And when I went to visit him on this day, the security guard, when I stepped into the building, pointed me to an article that was on the wall behind me. And this article was all about my brother and how he did this amazing job going and visiting a school and inspiring the young people. And it wasn't lost on me at the age of 6 that although he could do so much great outside of this building, because of a poor choice he made when he was a 13-year-old, he was stuck in here until he was 21. And by the time I got to the age of about 10, 11, 12, I had a really difficult anger management problems. And I would break holes in doors and walls and even harm my mother. And the police got called on me. And I remember this day clearly when the police brought me down, put me in the back of their car and said, look, we can take you with us or send you back upstairs. But if we send you back upstairs and we have to come back, you're definitely coming with us again. And that moment of grace was a big pivot moment for me that helped me commit to a new direction for my life.
Wow. And that's quite a moment too, because you never know, you know, what the kid will choose, you know? And it's an interesting thing though that you've pointed out that they can choose the positive path. And I think that's the coolest part of what you're doing. The kids in Choose 180 just have to do a one-day program to get their charges dropped, right? So how does it work?
We have this really unique relationship with the district attorneys in our community where we're able to give young people community instead of a courtroom. And essentially what happens is when a young person's behavior is criminalized, they get referred to our program instead of referred to the court system. They show up to the shared space with people with lived experience that mirrors them. They hear testimonies from folks through this exercise we have called the Color of Connectedness, where I'll tell my story, for example, about how I used to damage property that wasn't mine. And then I will invite the young people, their connected adults, the prosecutors in the space, the staff, the volunteers, to all come down and get like a green Mardi Gras bead. And we'll do the same thing for physical violence, for theft and drugs and alcohol. And before you know it, everybody in the space has these beads around their neck. And the young people recognize that I'm not here because I'm guilty, because if that's the case, then all of us are guilty. Then it must be for something different. It's for grace. And we've recognized that grace is a far better motivator for behavior change than guilt ever could be.
Absolutely. Did you feel like you had moments in your life that you're like, oh God, I'm glad that my whole path wasn't decided because of that one thing, like one mistake?
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying, it reminds me of this thing that I try to recognize, which is that like there's angels everywhere. And so my story is, when I was a little kid, I didn't really like school that much, but I knew I wanted to be an actor. And my parents sent me to this acting program over the summer. And then the following semester, we hadn't enrolled because my family was tight on money and we just couldn't afford to swing it. And the director of the program called my parents to be like, hey, we noticed that Jessie isn't signed up for this next semester, just trying to, make sure that you're all good to go, like it's starting soon. And my mom explained, oh, we're a little tight right now, so we're gonna take a little time off. And this director of the program, she said, well, Jessie's really intense in class and she gets the other kids to focus. So we want to offer her a lifetime scholarship and she can come whenever she wants. And so I got to go to acting classes for 10 years because of this woman, Ellen Spindell. And it was like,
wow,
totally blessed by an angel kind of moment. I'm so grateful to her.
You know what's so funny? I had similar moments in my life. We had no money. There wasn't a lot of support in that area because there just couldn't be.
Yeah.
And I had people help me. And I think what you're saying is if you give kids that maybe don't have the opportunity because of finances, that don't have the opportunity because of they don't have that support system, those little moments, look at where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
We would probably not
absolutely.
be here had people not believed in us and had they not, kind of helped us on a better path and one that had opportunity. A few years ago, our next guest was homeless and facing serious jail time. That's when she discovered Choose 180 and made a commitment to change. Now her life looks drastically different. Everybody say hello to Lamaria. Hi, Lamaria. Hi. Say hi to Jessie as well.
Hi, Jessie.
All right, well, Lamaria, can you tell us a little about your background first?
I grew up and I was bullied, being a bigger girl. My mom wasn't financially stable to get me the things that could distract bullies from bullying me. So at about 13, my behavior changed and I began stealing. I didn't enter the criminal justice system until I was 18 for theft. And when I went to jail, I got out to being homeless, Kelly. I got out to couch surfing, and I was entering into survival mode. How can I survive? And that led to cashing bad checks, and cashing bad checks led to facing 7 felony forgeries. So you can only imagine, how that was.
I think that's the interesting thing about situations like this is everybody thinks they're invincible. You're not. You don't have any idea like what could your place could burn down. Everything could go up in flames, and all of a sudden you're in a completely different environment, or you don't have the support around you. You don't have people to call for money. Like not everybody has that, and that can happen to anyone. Well, what was your experience like with the program?
My experience was amazing, Kelly. Like I said earlier, I was homeless. I was in a place where I didn't know if I could stop stealing. I didn't know if I could stop cashing checks. And I came into the program. I walked into the workshop thinking it's going to be a one-day thing, but it turned into 2.5 years of turning my life around, building amazing relationships. And in the midst of that time, I got stable. I learned life lessons, how to financially save, how to be stable within a home. They paid for all my moving costs, just a new start for me. It was amazing, honestly, truthfully. And in the midst of that as well, all 7 forgery charges, Kelly, are gone. I did not have to go to jail. There were so many community leaders that on my behalf wrote a letter that, Lamaria, was in the circumstances to survive, and that's not her. She can do better. And that resulted to employment. Sean just offered me employment to give back to my community, to help out young girls just like me. So that's my calling, and I just want to be the best at that.
I love it. You want to be the best version of yourself. And that's what I love from the video, too, that we played before we brought Sean out, is, he said, this isn't just a good thing for these individuals. It's an amazing thing for these individuals, but it's an even bigger thing and a bigger impact on the community as a whole. Lamaria, I understand that you have something you want to say to Sean, right?
Yes, I do. Uncle Sean, I just wanted to let you know, thank you for everything you've done for me. Thank you for everything you do for the Seattle community. I love you forever for it, and I appreciate all the opportunities, and I can't wait to see what the future holds.
And we love what Choose 180 is all about and how it's changing lives. So Sean, we are giving the program $10,000. How's that sound?
What? Oh, that sounds amazing. That's great.
All No, we love what you're doing, and I've been so excited, literally, to have you on this show. And it's just such a gift. You're such a gift, and you should let those tears flow, man. That means it matters. It's okay. Yep, I'm still here, just waiting for you to subscribe. If you don't, I'll be trapped in this box forever.